All right, peace be upon you, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? Now, in today's video, this video in particular is going to be addressed mainly towards the sisters, and it'll be talking about modesty and how I think a lot of what passes off as modesty is not Quranic modesty at all. It's provocative, it's suggestive, it's slightly scandalous, and I mean, I suppose men can watch this video. If you are interested, then that's fine, but I have to give you a quick caveat. So, if you don't have any control over your eyes, you have a bad habit of staring and you fantasize, and this is a demon you're battling with, then don't watch this video. Skip to the next episode or just listen to the audio because I'm going to have to show bad examples of immodestly dressed women to convey to the sisters what is right and what is wrong. So again, if you have a problem with this, stay away from this video. For me, I can look at these pictures and it does absolutely nothing to me. God has given me a strength whereby I'm able to stare, and I shouldn't say stare, but I'm able to look upon these photos and no fantasies, no sexual thoughts, nothing goes through my head. My eyes and my brain are under lock and key. Even a completely naked woman could come in front of me right now and I just turn away. I warn them of God and I turn away. That's actually happened to me. I've had immodestly dressed women approach me and say things and do things that are inappropriate, and I just walk away. I feel nothing within me whatsoever. So, unless you have that level of discipline as a man, don't watch this video because it's going to contain images which are going to be a fitna for you. So, to kind of preface this, I want to say that I think of a lot of so-called hijabi modesty or hijabi fashion that it's not really modest. There's a lot of suggestive, provocative maneuvers that modern hijabis employ, which still invoke sexual thoughts and fantasies within men. They try to do that, even if they don't realize it fully. That's what they're doing, and I want to go be in this video. I want to go beyond just the obvious things. So obviously we all know, okay, don't show your midriff, don't show your bottom, don't show your cleavage, don't show your breasts. We all understand that the Quran says to draw covering over yourself and wear lengthened garments, but I'm going to go beyond that. I'm going to go into other realms and territories which the Quran doesn't explicitly speak about, but I would say it falls into the remit of immodesty and scandalous behavior. So, to begin, I want to speak about makeup. And actually, I want to preface this by saying I'm not saying makeup is haram. I'm not saying it's unlawful. I'm not making unlawful what God has not made unlawful. But specifically, I'm talking about a certain style of makeup that is very trendy now with hijabis and non hijabis alike. This kind of Instagram baddie look. Let me pull up some examples for you guys to see. Yeah, my wife is just saying Bratz doll style makeup. Am I recording? Yeah. All right, we're good. So let's pull it. Let's just pull up an image of beautiful hijabi. Okay. Now we're gonna get a lot of AI images, but even though they're AI, it still gives you an example because women dress like these AIs. So let's take a look right here. So you see this woman. I'm telling you, there's something about the makeup, this style of makeup, and it's not exclusive to hijabi women. This Instagram baddie kind of thing. Right, Kim Kardashian, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, they all do this. Let me actually get a real image, not AI. It's so common to see. Okay, right here, this lady. Okay, so let's pull this up and let's pull up an image of Cardi B. So this is a woman who's obviously not a believer in God, not inclined towards the Lord, fully scandalous and immodest, but let's just kind of compare them for a second. If we take away how she's dressing underneath, let's just focus in on her head, Cardi B and whoever this girl is. There's not much of a difference to how they're presenting themselves, is there? I'm telling you, there's something about this makeup, the eyeliner and the wings and the smoke and the colored lips and the puckering of the lips. You know what this does? This is not by accident. And let me actually, before I get into that, I'm going to make a preface by saying this as well. This woman is obviously immodest, Cardi B, but any of the hijabi women that I'm showing here, I'm not saying that they're stepping out on their husbands or behaving sexually immodestly or anything like that. They're likely faithful to their husbands or single. They're preserving what God wants preserved. But even though they're not going the full way. They are gaining and feeding off of the lust and the attraction of men and men staring at them. They are feeding off that kind of energy. They're just not going the full way like Cardi B and shaking their bottom outside. So so here's the thing. If you look at this kind of smoky eye and puckered up lips, you know what kind of vision it gives men in their head for all the women who wear this kind of makeup? It gives bedroom images. This is how a woman looks at you in the bedroom. It's this dreamy eye, this puckered lips. That is the kind of fantasy that is being catered to with this style of makeup. And it's not an accident that these hypersexualized women like Cardi B and these so-called, beautiful hijabi women, they'd be even more beautiful if they took off the makeup. But these hijabi women and Cardi B, they're wearing the same style of makeup. This hypersexualized woman, Cardi B, she finds the same style of makeup attractive and useful for luring men that these hijabi women are. Let's pull up some more images. Okay. Let's see. Right here, another one. You see this kind of dreaminess staring into your soul. There's something about this, and the Quranic model for women that women are to follow is marry. And what is the Quranic way? The Quranic way is to, as best as possible, obviously you look clean and presentable. I'm not saying don't brush your teeth or do anything like that. Look clean, look presentable, but as a woman, your job is to do the best you can to turn men's gaze away from you. And the way these women are here, they are not turning men's gaze away from them. They are alluring, they're bringing it in. It's not an accident, this kind of look. This is a very intimate, dreamy, sleepy, just woke up 5 minutes ago kind of look. That's the kind of vision that comes in your head. We are to stay away from that. Yeah. Yeah, I have my wife in the background. She's giving me some cues of things to say because she feels very strongly about this. She sees this all the time out there. And it's a contradiction that hijab is supposed to represent modesty, reservedness, guardedness, being guarded, preserving what God wants preserved. But then you have the makeup, same makeup as Cardi B. What is another scandalous woman? Nicki Minaj. She also loves this style of makeup too. Nobody would call her a woman of taqwa and piety. Yeah, yeah, she loves this kind of makeup too. And what I was saying is that there's a contradiction. So the hijab is supposed to signify modesty, but then this kind of makeup, it's to allure men. There's a contradiction there. And I know this very well because I went to school with this. I saw this in my high school. Hijabis, faces filled with makeup, tight jeans on where you can see their bottom as they're walking. Not proper. I was always suspicious of this. It just looked to me like feminism in a hijab, like Cardi B in a hijab. Ridiculous. Even if, like, you can even pretend, let's say if we cover Cardi B's neck right here and pretend that her black hair here is a black hijab, she looks like I don't know, like a Eritrean Muslim woman, right? The exact same thing. I'm just going to go through my notes slowly but surely. Yeah, so as I was saying, your dressing should be clean, respectable, presentable, but not to draw in attention. Your job as a woman, if you want to follow the best woman who ever lived, which is Mary, your job is to actually try to disappear as a woman when you're out in public, okay? It's to gray out, to become the gray woman. And specifically, also on the makeup, I just want to say as a separate issue, there's all kinds of chemicals in them. You don't want this stuff in your face, okay? The cosmetic industry, it's basically a dumping ground for any chemical you can possibly think of onto a woman's face, and it ruins your skin, it makes you age really badly, and breeds all kinds of insecurities. Suddenly you're afraid of showing your real face to the world. I'm so glad the day I married my wife, she's always been wearing no makeup. I love it. She's not going to go back. I don't want her to go back. That's natural, raw, feminine beauty. This makeup thing, it breeds so much insecurity in women, and it's actually mind-blowing since I don't know anything about makeup obviously, but only recently I've learned that they're able to like even change the look and shape of their nose and their eyes, make their lips look bigger and smaller, make themselves look like they have cheekbones coming out that aren't actually there. Women are drawing on a completely different face, and it's not healthy for you to be living like that. Yep. Yeah, no point in wearing a hijab with that. So let's actually pull up some examples of this. So I'm gonna go on a website, a very popular hijab website. I buy my wife some scarves every now and then from there, and she just goes through the catalog, and she marvels at the women on the website, how they're behaving, the kind of, in my language, is called nakhre, or attitude, or this kind of cattiness. This is not modesty. Look at this. You see that woman's pose right there? It's kind of like, you think you can get me, but you're not going to get me. And I'm sorry if you're cringing to death seeing me doing this. I'm showing you what they're doing, right? This is invoking bedroom images. Like, this look is like she's luring you into the bedroom. They're giving fantasies of like this sexy, exotic wife, modest from the east, but to her husband she's going to show all the goods to. That's the kind of fantasy that they're catering to. It's not the way of Mary. Look at this, right? Again, puckering her lips, and even the slight crease, she's opened her lips like this kind of exhale of ecstasy. Yeah, I'm gonna find those images too. These women, they'll even push their hips out. They'll pose, right? Are we hiding our body, or are we trying to show our body? It's ridiculous. Look at her, the way she's clenching her teeth. It's like she's turned on. She finds this man very attractive. And again, I'm not saying that any of these women are stepping out, but they, they know what they're doing, and especially Voile Chic and these websites, that they know that men are going to find these kinds of photos interesting. Look at this, hiding behind. You even see the one eye, the all-seeing eye symbolism. She's hiding with one eye behind the curtain, like again, she's leading you into the bedroom. They're catering to this kind of Arabian Nights sort of exotic, and incense and spices filling the air. They're playing into that kind of fantasy of men. Let's see this image right here. Yeah, she's also doing the one eye thing. Let's get another website. It's so common. This is ubiquitous. Let's pull up a Hote Hijab. Yeah, she, yeah. My wife is French, so she knows how to pronounce it. I just pronounce it like Anglo. Look at this right here. And I'm sorry for the wording here, but I got to say it just as it is. I warned the men who don't have any control, don't listen to or watch this video. But look at her pose here. This kind of lips slightly open and the eyes closed. This is orgasmic. This is like a climactic look. This is a fantasy for many men, the exotic Arabian wife of the East. Yeah, this is most hijabis that you see walking around in the mall, walking around outside. They have this attitude to them, and this is not the way of Mary, right? The leaning against the wall, like this kind of. You know what this says right here? Let me pull it up again. No, Mary would not take these girls as close friend. No, in fact, if Mary was alive today, she would be calling this out right now. This kind of fake modesty type of thing, right? Look, this is the image I was trying to focus on here. So you see her. It's like the way she's looking. It's like, I know I'm sexy. I know I'm beautiful. I know you're looking at me, but you can't have it. You can't have it. That's the kind of game she's playing out here. So it's very common. And I want to pull up some YouTube videos as well to really hammer in these examples. These things, they pop up on my wife's feed all the time, and she notes just how ridiculous. She marvels. So let's pull up, what's one of the channels called? Yeah. Okay, Bara Bolat. Bara Bolat. Okay. Let's pull it up here. And I'm going to mute it, but usually there's all kinds of sensual, actually very secular, atheistic music playing in the background as well. So you'll find these channels all over YouTube. Women doing household chores, doing cooking, doing sewing, things that are traditionally associated with women, but you will never find a single video of them without globs of makeup all over them and making these faces, this attitude they're showing. And women are not to behave in this manner. God is not pleased with this, okay? And again, these women are not stepping out on their husband. They're not doing anything evil per se, like openly sexual, but it's the feeding off of the energy. Like, it's not committing the act of zina, this sexual immorality, but it's like the smell of sex, the look. They're feeding off of the dogging of men. I promise you that 84,000 views on this video is majority men. It's not women. And you know what? The attraction of the video is not the, oh my gosh, the best watermelon feta salad. The attraction is her, okay? And her face. Let's look at the attitude here. You see, just catch that face in the beginning. It's kind of, right? She's starting off like this. Is this a face that you think Mary, your matriarch? Abraham is our patriarch of men, and Mary is our matriarch. She's the example model woman. Your matriarch, sisters, do you think this is how she was behaving? Do you think she'd be putting out videos like this online, that this follows along her category? No. Yeah, she was lowly, she was humble, hiding. Okay. Let's look at this right here. Does anybody cut a watermelon with their lips puckered up like that? Okay, right? I've walked into my wife cutting watermelons quite a few times in the kitchen. I tell you, she's never doing that, okay? She's looking at the watermelon like it's her husband, right? Okay? All over YouTube, this kind of thing, right? There's something up with this, okay? And I know some of you guys who already dislike me, you're going to call me semi-Sunni or diet Sunni or Hadithan because I'm getting very conservative with how I'm coming at this. But no, this is not right. This is not right at all. I know what she's doing, and she knows what she's doing. And she knows what's selling her videos and making them go viral. It's not the feta cheese, okay? Yeah, that's another great point, my dear. Why in all of these videos, I'm going to show you a few channels, these women are like panning to themselves, always, always, and making the face, because they are the attraction, not what they're cooking. There's another one in particular that stood out to me. Let me pull it up here. Okay, look at this. Look at this right here. So this video is supposed to represent modesty, right? So she's like, I'll show you my hair for the first time ever. And you notice the teasing as well. I'll show you. Just kidding. I'm not going to show you. So the concept of the video is she's going to show her hair, but in reality, she takes off layer after layer of hijab. And it's just hijabs. She's not going to go against her faith and show you her hair. God forbid, astaghfirullah. But yeah, let's just watch the video for a second. Then we'll look at the thumbnail. Right? This friendly smile. And I'm not saying that this woman is a prostitute, but this is how a prostitute would smile at you to get the man excited. Oh, making this kind of face and undressing as well, unveiling herself, getting the men excited. Are you ready? And you see the little emoji she put there? And then, ha, it's her husband or her brother or whatever, this goober. Okay? Okay? I don't know who this man is letting her make these videos and participating in this. It's just absolute cringe. But okay, let's zoom in on the thumbnail, okay? This thumbnail, brothers and sisters, is not by accident, okay? The closed eyes, the puckered lips. Look at how many views. 30 million views. Do you think the majority of those are women? Let's be honest. Is that women? No, it's men. Look, the pure orgasmic bedroom face, okay? This kind of like that, and this is what so many men are fantasizing of seeing in the private chambers. And she is marketing and milking that. Look at this, the seductive eyes. You get the point, right? This is all over YouTube. Let's show you even one more example. There's a video, what is it? Problems only hijabis understand. Oh, yeah, that's another thing, my dear, right? Tons of makeup tutorials with the hijabis, and it's... Why are you putting this online in the first place? And secondly, and it's even the face, they're just like, right? They're dolling themselves up. Yeah, it's a contradiction. Look at this. I grew up with this. I went to school with this. Feminism in a hijab, okay? No modesty, no true shyness, none of that stuff. Look at this video right here. Yeah, these hijabi girls, they're talking to the black and the Arab athletes, the basketball players, the soccer players, all these guy friends, and chit-chatting with them with their tight jeans on, and they're touching each other and teasing each other. It makes me sick just thinking about it, right? If you have a truly conservative, God-fearing heart, for the brothers out there and the sisters as well, I know for a fact that this kind of open, free sex, flirty culture, there's something about it that really doesn't sit right with you. It disgusts me. It revolts me. And I've seen this for so long. Look at this video right here. So this is supposed to be things that only Muslim girls understand. And again, her unwise husband, I think this is some Pakistani woman married to this white guy who converted or whatever. This unwise husband is allowing her to do this in the video. So just check this out for a second.
First, we're gonna be late. Hey babe, the electrician.
So, look at her. It's so cute. She's not trying to look pretty at all. She's in her hoodie, just at home with her headphones on her laptop. Only problem is she has a face full of makeup on. Is that really how she looks in the home when she's honestly in her hoodie with her headphones on? Is that how she looks? No. She prepared and glammed herself up. She knows what she's doing. So you need to stay away from this. I'm warning you. I'm warning you. This is a trap. It's a false hope. Women naturally they do seek the attention of men. That's normal. Looking pretty and stuff like that, that's fine. But in a natural and normal society, that desire is expressed through her husband giving it to her. My wife loves the attention from me. From me. She's not seeking the attention of other men. That masculine male energy she gets from me. But when it gets perverted and distorted and vain and egotistical, and the shaitan starts provoking you, they start seeking it from other men and getting that attention. And you know, men are guilty of this too. It's not just women. I'm going to get on the men here as well. I've seen so many men who, and this is the next thing I want to talk about, they, even though they have a wife or maybe they're on monk mode, they don't plan on sleeping with the woman or doing any sexual immorality. They'll still get their little flirty flirt on with the girl. They'll, like a cashier or I don't know, a coworker at the workplace, get their little flirty flirt on, tease her, have fun with her, joke with her. Even though his wife is at home, he's gonna go back home to his wife. He doesn't plan on doing anything with her, just to get the smell of sex. All this stuff. It's the smell of sex. I'm telling you, men will do this as well. Even these men, as they get older, to their 40s and 50s, they like seeing the young girl flirt with them, and then they'll just be like, yeah, I still got it. I still got it. I still got the moves. It's such cringe. I know it when I see it. The next thing I want to talk about, so I was speaking about the makeup and this style of behavior, this, you know, the next thing is, let's see, right here. So it's a over familiarity and talking a lot. That's another big one. Okay. It's not just the makeup and the lips and the breasts and the bust and all that. That's not the only thing that can make men in whose hearts is disease excited. Remember, for me, it's not going to get me excited because my eyes are on lock and key, but you want to keep yourself guarded from bad men out there staring at you because they will stare at you. Another thing that will get them to stare at you is the voice, the softness of a woman's voice, the smiling, the inviting, the open body language and gestures. Even if she's dressed like this woman right here, there's nothing showing. She's just in this kind of hoodie, the smiling. It will get a lot of men excited. And a woman of taqwa, a woman of prudent fear, or you want to translate it as vigilance, you want to translate it as God consciousness, you want to translate it as those who guard. A woman who guards, who remembers God, she is not seeking after that. And she knows, and she tries her best to speak as little to men as possible. Now, if there's truly business to be spoken of, then okay, no problem. My wife sometimes, let's say when she's giving charity to a homeless person, let's say it's a guy, she'll warn them or tell them about God. There's business there. She's giving something to them, then she's on her way. If she's talking to a male cashier, okay, he's checking out her stuff. Do you want any bags with that? No, I don't want any bags. There's business there. But I'm talking about this culture, which applies to men as well, men and women, of men and women chit-chatting with each other just for the sake of chit-chatting. That's not proper. Again, you're getting the smell of sex. So many men and women, they're getting it from that. I like me at my workplace, I do my absolute best to try to avoid talking to women. Unless they're like a grandma or way older than me, I could tell they're in a different lane, right? I'm like their son or like their nephew or something like that. But women who are in my lane, like 20s and 30s, even 40s, and it also depends on how they behave too as well. If I sense that kind of spunk and a little bit of gusto from them, I deliberately try to avoid them. I feel weird with the whole female friends thing. All this stuff is based on the idea that men and women are equal. And because men are friends with men and women are friends with women, men and women are equal, so men and women should be friends with each other. No, men and women are not to be friends with each other. I'm not going to chit chat with a woman in the same way that I would chat with my brother just about how their day. Oh, hey, bro, how's your day going? Why would I do that with a woman? What's there to gain for that? I can help a sister if she needs it. Again, that's related to business. You need my help with something. Let's say a sister sends me an email or puts a comment, I respond back. There's business related, but just for chit chat purposes, no way, not at all. So that's another form of guarding you need to have to not talk as much to men, to try to avoid and run away. And if you can, even seek out a woman to help you instead of going to a man. That's what I do at my workplace. When I need help with something, I don't know how to do a certain task. If there's a woman that's near me and a man all the way at the far end of the building at the factory, I will walk all the way there to ask the man to help me, because that's called prudent fear. And actually, I want to bring up a specific verse in the Quran to instantiate this, of Mary, your matriarch. Yeah, I'm going to bring that up to them right now, my dear. Yeah, Quran verse, what is it? When her spirit came to her like a human being. It's in 1917. Let's go on reader.quranic.com. Yeah, I'll mention all that. So, we'll begin in the name of God, the Almighty and the Merciful. So, and remember thou in the writ, or in the book, Mary, when, let me see, when she withdrew from her people to a place in the east. So she separated herself from them. Then we sent to her our spirit, and he appeared to her as a mortal without fault. Now that's a very interesting thing. Now the Quran doesn't explicitly say this, but let's be real, it's implied. This is the spirit of God being sent as a human being. Literally something coming from heaven and coming in the form of a mortal, okay? Do you think that that spirit, which came in the form of a mortal, was ugly? No. It's probably very attractive, very good looking, everything on point. That's why it even says a mortal without fault. An angel or spirit came from heaven and became like a human being. It's obviously somebody very attractive who's on point. They don't look like these internet atheists, okay? Look at this guy right here. It's Aaron Raw, internet atheist, degenerate. I guarantee you, I can't tell you exactly what it looks like. I can't tell you blue eyes or brown eyes or this or that or whatever hair, but beautiful looking, I'm sure. It didn't come looking like this degenerate, just like face melting into his shoulders. No. Okay? So this presumably very attractive mortal without fault, no error she could find in him, came to her. And what did she do? Did she meet him with smiles and love and friendliness? Let me pull up an image right here. Friendly woman. Hello, how are you? How's your day? Let me pull up an image right here, right? Did she come with this? Even though this woman is fully covered for the most part, not the best dressing, but it's her attitude, this kind of attitude over smiling, it'll excite men. And Mary understands this though. So did she do hello? No. She said, I seek refuge in the Almighty from thee, if thou be in prudent fear. She immediately, this man, probably military age, good looking, came to her. She said, a barrier. I seek refuge in the Almighty between me and thee. She didn't say, hello, how's it going? There are examples in this to learn. Being overly friendly and smiling, men in whose hearts is diseased, they will get excited. So stay away from that. Be like Mary. Try to avoid men. Disappear from men as much as possible, as much as you can, unless there's business to be dealt with. Yeah, men can take it as flirting as well. Again, those in whose hearts is disease may get excited over these things. Let's go down to the next thing. So we got makeup, we got feminism and a hijab. We got the next thing I want to talk about is tight clothing. So even though you're covered, I see so many women, they were hijabi women with the makeup on and the tight jeans. You have to be modest in that regard as well. Even though I can't see any skin, I can imagine what you look like naked. I can see your whole figure there. Let's pull up some images. I don't know. Beautiful hijabi Muslim dress. Sure. Okay. Right here. Right away. This is supposed to be an example of modest beauty, but does that look like modest, Mary-like beauty to me? Not at all. Look at that, the way that's hugging her curves, accentuating her hourglass figure, the kind of thing that tantalizes and tempts men. You see this all over the place. And she's technically covered. I don't see any skin, but this is too revealing. The purpose of your dressing, anything that brings attention to your body is bad. You are not to dress like that. You are to dress in a way to put attention away from your body. Okay? So all these things that women wear, even hijabis, cups and belts as well. What is the purpose of wearing a belt? Let me see if I can find an image like that right here. Right? Waist belts. Let me see. Okay, this is an AI, but it's still same idea. Women look like this. Yeah, the whole belt and tying it at the waist. What is the practical purpose of wearing a belt? There's only one reason. It's to bring attention to your figure. It's a sexual allurement, and this is not proper for God-fearing women. You have this, you have the slits, the cups, the belts. You have sometimes certain dresses, they kind of blouse up at the side to make the hips look more robust than they are. All these things God-fearing women need to stay away from. The whole purpose of your dressing, like I said, is to bring attention away from the body. Think a box, a square, a rectangle, something that goes straight from the bottom, does not highlight your form in any way. Let me see if I can find a good example because it's very hard to. All these are bad examples, lots of makeup, tight clothing. Yep, yeah, hijabis are failing. I know, my dear, I know. I've seen this. I went to school with this kind of thing. Let me see. Right, although don't like the attitude here, the way she's kind of swinging her hips and doing this, but this is a better example. So this is nice and straight to the bottom, not bringing any attention to her body at all. This is more or less a standard, minus, of course, the makeup. Let's cover that up. Let's see if I have any other points about tight clothing. Yeah, hip flares, cups on breasts, waist cinches, belts. The purpose of dressing is to avert the eyes away from the figure, not bring it in. Think of a bag or a box, okay? Imagine, honestly, please tell me, how do you imagine your matriarch, Mary, dressing? Do you imagine her, let's see, like this? With this kind of attitude and makeup and, tightened waist? Is that how you imagine Mary, the woman of highest prudent fear? No way. Let's see. So we got makeup, tight clothing. Another thing is the walking style, and this is specifically addressed in the Quran. Let's pull up the verse right now. Quran verse, stomp your feet. Don't stomp your feet, something like that. Yeah, that's another thing. Good point, my dear. So another thing is avoid the heels. Why is that the case? Because the heel, and this is going to go into the walking. The heels force women to walk in a certain way where they got to kind of swing their hips. It puts their legs more on display than they need to be. Clack, clack, clack. You can hear her coming from a mile away. When you hear that tuck, 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 you're just like, who's that? That's immediately what you think of, right? And men in whose hearts is disease. I'm going to be thinking, who's that walking like that? But men who are not approved for them, like, damn, who's that, right? You want to avoid that clack, clack, bringing in attention. Also, I'm going to show you the Quran verse about not stomping your feet on the ground, because even when you hit your feet really hard on the ground, even if you're wearing a baggy dress, which is appropriate, it causes the dress to move and hug the curves of your body, giving men little teases here and there. You don't want to be doing that, okay? Let's pull up the verse. Surah Nur, chapter, which is, what number is that? Surah Nur. That is the 24th chapter. Okay, so it's 24:31. Remember, I'm calling you to what is best, the path of prudent fear, to walk the spiritual path. And there's nothing about using your sex and your sexual appeal to tease and lure in men that belongs on the spiritual path. It doesn't exist. No, not the way of Mary. So let's go to 24:31. And say thou, let me just move my phone out of the way, and say thou to the believing women that they lower some of their sight and preserve their chastity. And now, preserving your chastity, it's more than just not showing your skin. It's all the things that I've mentioned above. That they show not their adornment except that apparent of it, and that they draw over their coverings over their bosoms, and not reveal their adornment except to their husbands, or their fathers, or the fathers of their husbands, or their sons, or the sons of their husbands, or their brothers, or the sons of their brothers, and so on and so forth, all the family members. And then, and let them not strike their feet to make known what they hide of their adornment. Because I see that. I see certain hijabis, the way they're walking around. Even if the dress is a little baggy, clack, 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 to get that hugging. You don't want to be doing that. That's another form of immodesty. Yep, and God says, and turn to God altogether, O believers, that you might be successful. All these things go together, not clacking. Also, another thing, not stomping your feet, not shaking your hips as you walk, not doing that catwalk. So walking normally, not crossing your legs over each other with this kind of baddie walk. All these things go together. Not speaking too softly, like, hey, hello, with this smiley thing, but just being straight, hello, all right, you know, just getting right to business. That's proper. And yeah, I have that note at the end. I'm going to say at the end of the video. You know, it's people, and if you do these things, you try to avoid talking to men and guard yourself. You're pretty cold and distant from men, but you're there to help if they need it. People may see you as rude. They may see you as stuck up and arrogant and problematic, but let me tell you that that is closer to prudent fear. Okay? The West is, again, it's built on this delusional concept that men and women are the same. Because men and men can be friends and hang out all together, and women can, men and women can also hang out together. So if you as a woman are not as talkative to a man as a man would be, then let's give you an example. If I'm, I don't know, talking to some guy, just recently I got my phone screen protector replaced. And I was talking to a guy at the work, the guy who was doing that for me. He was finding out a case and screen protector, and I was talkative with him. I was chatting with him. Hey, where are you from? Oh, I'm from India, South Side, North Side. If he wasn't very talkative with me, I would think, oh, what, does he not like me? Is he not rude? Because men talk. That's fine. Just getting to know each other, giving each other value. But if that was a woman I was dealing with, let's say, and I wouldn't chit chat with her like that, but if let's say I was for some whatever reason, and she wasn't chit chatting with me back, she is not being rude. She is not being rude at all. But the West may make it seem rude because, again, men and women are equal in the Western eye. Because the man should be giving me value and talking to me, the woman should be giving me value and talking to me. And even though you're seen as rude, ladies, sisters, God appreciates what you do, and you don't have to be friends and talkative with men. Yeah, your intention has to be to guard yourself. You know, I even like the mosque model of separating men and women. It's more better. It's closer to prudent fear in my eyes. Not this church kind of thing where men and women, they're all holding hands. A man is holding hands with another man's wife and everybody's cheering. You know, the wife walks into church with high heels on and makeup and all the men are staring at her. And like, this is scandalous beyond belief. It's unbelievable. No, I like them all. Men with men, women with women. So it prevents all staring, all temptation, everything gone. Focus in on the Almighty. Yeah, yeah, you have, yeah. In churches, you have the women singing on stage. I remember I went to a Kingdom Hall for the longest time, not because I was interested in becoming a Jehovah's Witness, but just because in my high school I was so lonely. My loneliness was so debilitating and depressing because I was just talking about God and flat Earth, and everybody ran away from me. That I just decided to do some Bible studies with Jehovah's Witnesses, so just so I could talk to somebody about God, just get a little bit of that flavor, that spiritual appetite, quenched a little bit. And I was going to Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Hall, and I noticed that they pass the microphone around, and the women, they read the scripture. The women, they reflect on the scripture, and their soft voices being heard by the men. This is not the proper way. I like the mosque model, definitely, at least on that matter. Another thing I want to mention is head wraps are great. They're not necessary. God never says that you have to wear them. It's not bad to show your hair, but they are great in that they're just an extra layer of protection. They show the world. You want to, as a woman, show the world, especially if you're married. Men, don't talk to me. I'm not interested in talking to you. And it's just another layer of that to show I'm not interested in talking to men. On top of the baggy clothing, on top of the not having any makeup, on top of avoiding eye contact with men, on top of being shy and modest in your walk, on top of having a head wrap, right? Just being so understated, you're letting the world know men don't talk to me. Don't deal with me, okay? I'm married, I'm off the market. And even if, let's say, you are looking for a good man, you shouldn't be attracting them primarily because of your looks. You should be attracting them with your character and your prudent fear. Not if the man wants to marry you because he can't wait to get in bed with you, that is not the proper way to go into it. The man should marry you because he's like, all right, this woman brings me closer to God. Her presence makes me want to draw closer to the Lord, so I want to bring her on my team. You don't want a man to marry you because he can't wait to hop in the sack. Improper, and that's a recipe for disaster. Yeah, yeah, that's another thing. When you have a turban, I'm not saying if you don't wear this that you're not a believer, okay? But if you do have a turban or a hijab, even the Sikh women, a lot of them they're very modest. I appreciate the way that they dress. No makeup on. You'll see. Let me put a Sikh woman in her turban and her pagdi. Sikh woman. Yeah, my wife always admires their look. Sikh woman turban. You'll find the modern ones, that's for sure, but it's very common. Like this kind of thing, right? Let's look right here. Okay, no makeup on, nothing suggestive, just this tube on her head. You know, this is the way to be. She is not trying to lure in. This is Quranic dressing, and I respect the Sikhs for that, undoubtedly. Right? They turn away from the makeup. This is the way you ought to be. Whatever style. This is just the Punjabi style. Yeah, yeah. Another thing, you get treated with respect as well. So my wife, she always wears a hijab or head wrap or turban when she goes outside. She gets sister a lot from people. Sister, sister, sister. She's treated with that level of grace and respect because people associate women. I'm not saying it's always the case. There are the fakers, but generally women who cover their hair, they come with a certain guardedness, and people associate that with belief in the Almighty. And she likes being treated like that. Not as a single woman, not as a buddy or a friend, but as a sister in the faith. She gets a lot of salam alaikums as well. And kind of to summarize everything that I've been saying, I'm trying to hit all of my points. Let's see. Um, in the end, it's you want to. Let me actually, before I go into that, I want to pull up like an image of what people imagine Mary was like. Obviously, it's not true, but just a caricature, a symbol, Mary. Okay. Right, yeah, this Mother Teresa kind of looking. We can go into whether the corruptions and whatnot, but just what she represented, what she symbolized, Mother Teresa to the public eye. Let's pull this up right here. Okay, Mary, right? Oops. Yeah, never any tight, everything baggy, no makeup on. You see her; she's not even looking the way they painted her. It's a put aside the idolatry with the halo around her head. Okay, but the way they painted her, it's not an accident. She's supposed to represent modesty to Christians, to Muslims, and she's not even looking directly at the camera or like at the view of the person viewing. Her eyes are downcast in the painting. They did that for a reason. That's modesty. She's not looking at you in this sort of seductive way. And if we're gonna follow after this path, what she exemplifies, it's about dressing and behaving in a way that makes you as least of a test for men as possible. Let me tell you, ladies, for me, you're not a test because I don't stare. I don't stare. I've mastered that. But for many men, you are a test. So it's about making yourselves as least of a test, as easy for men to just glance at you and then look away to the next thing. That's what it's all about. Yeah. Even if you look at Mary's interaction with Zachariah, it's very cut to the point. God remembrance. Mary, how do you have all this provision with you? And remember, she had business with him. That was her caretaker, her temple patron. He's like, Mary, how'd you get this provision? She's like, the Almighty gave it to me. It's all God remembering, God centric. No flirty. I don't have any of that in the Quran. Flirty, chit chat, funny stuff. Nothing like that whatsoever. So this is my video. It's going to be a controversial video, certainly, but I hope that you ladies follow the best and most righteous path, the path of your matriarch, Mary, and don't feel the need to insert yourself in all kinds of men's matters and be in the face of men. Don't hide yourself. Hide yourself. That's the way to go. And I promise you, the blessings that'll be in store for you if you do that are untold. Even if you're single, as well, I promise you, God will give you a better, more righteous husband if you behave in that way. You will get the kind of man that you want. Not the man who came in because of this, what he saw, but the man who came in for this, who's actually going to stick around and not replace you if you get older, wrinkles start settling in, staring at other women because you're not looking the same anymore. If you want to avoid that man, you're going to behave in this way. And I promise you, the man who is not of the flesh but of the spirit, he will truly find you attractive in the deepest sense. Like, wow, that's really a beautiful woman, that understatedness. I want to make her my wife. I want to put her on my team. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's really all I got to say on the matter. I hope this talk was a blessing. And yeah, peace to you. Remember, deceit abounds, so keep your eyes wide open. Peace out.